Okay, welcome back. Solo roll Mangging. We're looking at Tales of Argosa, a new SR low fantasy D20 game. So last time, we kind of went through the rulebook in fairly extensive detail. I think we have a general gist of how the system works and stuff. So now we're going to be making some characters and going through the module Ironwood Gorge. So, yeah, character creation. Let's get into it. Roll 1d12 for race is the first step. Obviously, if you want to pick a race, you can just do that, I would imagine. But we will do that. I'm fine with that. I'm cool with that. I gotta enable some of these modules here. We need we'll do party resources and the simple dice roller. Pretty much all we care about. Alright, good. So D12 for our first character is an 11. Ooh, well, that is going to be different. We have an elf. Alright, we have an elf. Let's go here, and we need an elf kind of name for this guy. How about Scissorin. Okay, and let's see, races. Elf applied. Good. What's next? Tell me everything that's next. D66 for background. So we have actually, let me just pop this out. It's easier that way. We have 3-2. So we are an actor. +1 charisma, deception, and a lucky coin. 1 use reroll. Alright. We're gonna go to background, and we're gonna throw out actor there. And do we think that a lucky coin is gonna be... Do I have to add that, we think? Probably have to add that. I don't think that's gonna be... Okay, we'll have to add a custom item here. That is gonna be, yeah, I mean, it's an item. It's a one-time use, so lucky coin. 1 use reroll. It is a magic item. I guess it's in battle gear, but I may change that. I'd say it's very rare. You can change it to 0 slot consumable. Perfect. And then where did we have all those nice, like, generic fucking... I don't know where that was. Was that all under Shadow Dark, or... I don't think so. Maybe it was. I don't think it was. No, I don't think it was. I don't remember where we had all those nice tokens. Shame. But it might be... I guess there's some stuff here. I don't know if we'll find anything that's like a coin. Well, we'll just use this and call it a day. There you go. There's our lucky coin. 1 use reroll. Alright. +1 charisma and the deception skill. So we'll want to go ahead and add skill deception +1. Okay. And then we have to generate our attributes. So 3d6 7 times. Down the line, I suppose. So our strength will be, and this, we can swap stuff, and there will be some adjustments, but we're just going to go down the line. Okay, 12, 12. 10. Yep. 13 int. There's our 13. There's our 15. Perception. 8 will. 8 charisma. Ooh. Okay, there's our 7. So now we can swap. This seems a little loud, actually. I don't know. Feels loud. So we have 113, we will have 115. So no increases. And then we can swap any 2 attribute scores if desired. Where does that sit for us? Do we want a 15 perception? I guess if we're going for a ranged character, yes. But I think we also want to go with a little charisma, because we're an actor. We want to be a little charismatic, so we will dumb ourselves down. Go with that. Guess change all my base stats as well. Okay. All seems fairly correct. We haven't picked a class yet, though, so maybe I should be picking that. Right, so Artificer, Bard, Fighter, Barbarian, Monk, Ranger, Rogue, Cultist, Magic User. What do we feel? Bard could be a reasonable choice since we went into Charisma, but I'd have to swap. Well, there's no prereq. I don't need a 15 Charisma or anything, so we could just... And we can use all weapons. The thing is, Charisma, that's from Inspire Greatness. So right now, we'd be applying a +1 from Inspire Greatness, which is pretty minimal. So I think we want to go a little less on emphasizing Charisma, perhaps. So then, perhaps Rogue? You'd be limited to the short bow, however. And backstab would be pointless, so they're not really meant to be too ranged most of the time. So that means that if we want a ranged character, we could be a fighter. But Ranger kind of seems the way to go. It's just we're going to have to put up with the Beast Companion. Another extra thing to micromanage. But yeah, I suppose it's the way to go. So we're going to go with Ranger class. Plop that down. And so we're going to have 12 hit points because con plus level times 2. So con plus 2 is 12, blah, blah, blah. And we get a Beast Companion. Loyal Smart shares a special bond. Yada yada, and we will have to make that up. And then we also get Ranger Craft. 1 use. So we have to roll a d12 to determine what we get. And we get 2 because we have a perception of 15. So d12 of 1 and 6. So we get Animal Ken. You and your beast briefly exchange detailed information, including matters which might not normally be imparted by an animal. Okay. So yes, normally it's not like you just have a telepathic link or something to your dog, your wolf, or whatever. So, like, if you say, go in there and see what's there, and then the dog comes back, you know, can't really communicate much to you other than, like, a basic concept of, like, danger or food or, you know, something like that. Where with Animal Ken, though, if you use that, then you get a lot more detailed information. There might be, like, 6 goblins or something, you know, and you might know that then. So if you're the type that really likes to lean into your beast companion, that's a pretty good one to have. And then we got 6, which is cover fire. If you or an ally is hit by a ranged attack, you may trigger this talent to re-roll the attack and apply the lower result. You must be armed with a ranged or throwing weapon and be within range of the attacker to activate this ability. Okay. That's decent. Ranger craft talent. We got Animal Ken and cover fire. Okay, that's all that. We also get attack bonus +1. We get animal lore, wilderness lore, and stealth. And then 3 more skills. So we're a bit of a skill monkey here. Animal lore of my choice. I guess we'll go with charisma. We get wilderness lore and stealth. A lot of skills. And then 3. We have a lot of skills. D10 3 more times. 7 is general lore. Okay, sure. We know a lot of lore. 1 is going to be acrobatics. That's good. And 6 is going to be divine lore. All the lore. What the hell? We don't have. We have a shitty int. Oh well. At least we also have deception and stealth. Okay. And we start with a longbow, a quiver, a short sword, and leather armor. So, that would be under weapons, ranged, longbow. Yeah. Short sword. Sword short. We have a quiver. I don't know if that's... I don't know if that's meant to go anywhere. Yeah, I don't know. Light armor. I mean, obviously, you have to keep track of that arrows some way with that D6 roll, so I guess we would just put arrows. Ammunition for bows. If using ammo rolls, don't check consumable. Set slot to 0 since range weapons include the quiver arrows in their second slot. Oh. Two slots. Yeah, that's all correct. Alright, well then there you have it. That makes sense. There's all our battle gear, which does include equipped armor. They have a button to roll the supply for you for an item. I don't know how to equip stuff. That's a button to attack. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how to equip stuff. Now I know. Now I'm aware. Okay, and we will equip our Longbow. Good. Good, good, good. And that's what you start with. And you don't start with any money or anything. Is that correct? That might be correct. Go back to character creation here. Oh, we're also, yeah, the elf thing. Your advantage on all dex checks and dex saves, which is pretty huge. You'd think that they would have just thrown that in there when I dropped down elf, but it didn't. So, classes, but it's, yeah, it's not bad. And there's just these basic things for race, so... yeah. I guess they didn't include elf shit in your stuff. It's not a unique feature either, and it's not class ability, so there's not even like a section really where you put down your shit for your race, other than like your notes section. So I guess, I don't know. I'm just gonna copy this and... there you go. Notes. Yeah, disadvantage on con checks, pretty rough. So my initiative plus? No. We don't have any initiative bonus. My initiative is the average of my int and dex. So add them together, divide by 2 is 20 and 10. So that is correct. So that means when I roll initiative, it's a 50% chance of success. Not super hot, but, you know, it's probably not too far off from the average. I think we're mostly done here. Let me look one more time. Rerolls are 2 for human, 1. Initiative. Death save is, yep. That's correct. Yep. If you get the same skill twice, roll again. It's kind of not a great way to do it because some of your class skills are baked in and you don't get to roll. So I don't know if that's meant that you're supposed to re-roll your background at that point. Oh, I also have +1 charisma from my background, so this should actually be 14. Not that that makes much difference, but for roll under, kind of every point is a 5% buff. So keep track of that. Battle gear, blah, blah, blah. You also get a torch, bedroll, rations for 5 days, and a tinderbox, and 10 silver. Well. Now, if you were real cool, you would just have that, like, ready to go and be automatic, but I guess you don't. So a torch, a bedroll, torches, 5 torches. But I'm supposed to have 1 torch. One torch. Unless you tell me otherwise. Rations for 5 days. Yep, that's correct. And a tinderbox, which is not listed here as an item. That's some fuck, man. That's some fuck. There's no, like, alternative either. It's not like flint and steel or something. It's just nothing. Just forgot to add this. Okay, I guess I'll do it myself because everyone gets this. It seems kind of like one of the things you would remember to put in. Unless I'm losing my mind here. I think that's all correct. That's all correct. And nothing else has an icon, so just put it in there. Everything that's right. It's taking up 4 of my slots. It's probably correct. And we get 10 silver. Now, where is my money? Where's my money, 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 money? No money? Really? You created a character sheet for a fantasy RPG and forgot a spot for money? Or am I just meant to... I mean, I'm sure a certain amount of money takes up a slot, but... Man, the Shadow Dark Foundry module is just a lot better in a lot of ways. Unless you want to edit anything. Or house rule stuff. Then not so good. But, yeah, still definitely better than this. Disappointed. I don't think you're meant to add his equipment. That seems really weird. So literally just do not have a spot for money. As far as I can tell. Wild. Okay. I guess I'll just put it in notes. Along with all this other shit. It's not really well done. -1 point for that. And then I think Scissorin is done. Class, here we go. Ranger, select. There's Scissorin. Okay, there's one character done. How long did that take us? 22 minutes. Yeesh. Okay. I'm pretty sure he was done. Well, what else was left? AC, attack bonus. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Your age, we don't really care too much about that. You can choose to be old age if you're a human. Reduce your strength con by 1, increase int and will by 1. And you get an extra use of your first level class ability. Alright, our magic user might end up doing that. Alright, that's pretty much it. So now, D12 for our next character's race. 7 is going to be human. Shimple. And I don't know what kind of character this is going to be, so we'll just pick up a name, and we'll call him Fargrand. Alright. Background is going to be 1-2. A rat catcher, +1 dexterity. Got stealth, and he starts with a cheese wedge. As you do, you know. Background, rat catcher. Also race, human. Okay. Attributes, 3d6 down the line. Strength will be 9. I'm just going to roll 7 here. 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we did get 113. But the rest is pretty frickin' garbage. 10, 10, 10, 12, 13. Okay. So what do we want this character to be? It can kind of be anything we want. We can bump up 1 all the way to 15. And then swap over 1 to 13. Let's just make this our fighter and just kind of be boring about it. So we're going to swap Con and Charisma. So that'll be that. And then bump strength up to 15. Okay. And then I get +1 dex from being a rat catcher, so that'll be 11. Done and done. Okay. And we're going to go class. This should be faster a little bit. Fighter. We get adaptable and deadly strikes. Crit range is 19 to 20 then. We're a human, so we have 2 rerolls. And we get another +1 to any attribute we want up to a max of 16. So we could go all the way strength. And bump that up to get a +3. Is that a +3? No, it's not a +3. Okay, then never mind. Then maybe Con or Dex to get a little Dex bonus, which helps with AC. Yeah, let's go Dex. That doesn't get it either? Oh, shit. Okay, we're right on the cusp for a lot of these. Yeah, we're not going to get an extra mod out of any of this. Fuck. Well, then we have to think, because we get an attribute bonus at level 2. I mean, all of these matter, not just the mod. I was just thinking about combat, obviously. The mod does matter for attack rolls and AC. But Con would give us more hit points. Alright, let's just go 16 strength. I mean, let's be a boss about it. Why not? So that's that. Luck 11. I don't know why it's starting at 10 with luck 11. Rerolls 2 for human. Initiative is 10. Hit points. It's going to be level times 3. Plus your con, right? Or maybe... Hold on. I mean, it could have been a barbarian instead, but I like the classic fighter. I always like having one. Okay, con score plus level times 3. So it should be con plus 3, which is 16. That's correct. All right, good. And that's all correct across the board there. So then, skills. We did get stealth as a skill, which is fun. And our class abilities. So let's go down to fighter now. We get leadership and athletics. Strength. Leadership. Then we roll d12 3 times. We got a duplicate there. So 5 is going to be Wait a minute. No. The numbers first. Detection. We got detection. We get acrobatics as well. And 11 is traps and locks. Boy, what an odd character. You got stealth, detection, acrobatics, traps, and locks. Just only his dex was better. We can just we don't even need a rogue. Okay, and then adaptable. So we're going to be rolling d12 twice for that. Because we have 2. We got 10 and 1. Brutal. Ooh. We had +2 to our trauma rolls with melee weapons. That's fun. I like that a lot. Does not stack with similar modifiers. I don't know if there's going to be a way to note that anywhere other than just keeping it in mind. But yeah, okay. And then we also got 1, which is Charger. When you take charge action, enemies do not gain the usual +2 attack bonus against you, and if you hit, the target must make a luck strength save or be knocked prone and or pushed a short distance. Okay. So I think we're going to do Brutal as our default. And then whenever we charge, we can just swap over to Charger, like at the opening of a combat. Which is pretty solid, I think. So, I don't know. Again, there's no way here to, designate it as your default or anything. Oh no, there is. How did they think of this? But they didn't think to add a fucking currency number. Okay, well, Brutal's our default. Alright, and then we got Deadly Strikes, which was expanded crit range to 19 and 20, and we get to do Trauma on a 20 as well. So crit and Trauma with +2 most of the time. Yeah, he's going to be pretty fun. I think it's going to be pretty fun. Alright, so weapon, we start with a longsword or a spear, chain shirt, and shield. You know, I always do longsword, but spear does get 1d6 +1, so the average amount of damage is pretty much the same. It's got, can be thrown. It has 1d12 blade trauma, plus 1 damage if you two-hand it. So if we go with the longsword, it has 1d10 plus 2 blade trauma. It says add +2 to trauma rolls, does not stack with similar modifiers. Does that mean that the longsword thing is just nullified? I think so. I don't think it would be a +4. So, fuck it, we're going with shield and spear. We're being a little different today. Yeah, I would say the Shadow Dark Foundry module, overall, big improvement compared to this. Being able to just click a button to equip something or unequip it, compared to going in here and doing that. I mean, it's just like, you know, a lot of little things that add up for usability and enjoyability. Then we also get a chain shirt and a shield. Go, armor, shield. Chain shirt will be medium. So we do get a -2 on stealth and swimming for having that equipped, but that's okay. Alright, so then our AC is 14. 3 from the armor, 1 from shield. That makes sense. We have nothing from dex. 14's not absurdly good at level 1, but it's not terrible. I mean, it's pretty much what we'd expect from, like, Shadow Dark for a starting character. And then there's also the usual gear bullshit. So the bedroll, the torches, of which we only get 1, but it defaults to 5 unless it's meant to be 5. I don't know. And the rations and the tinderbox. And then we also get 10 silver. We good? Done? I think that might be it. That might be done. I don't think there's anything else to do. Kinda got everything. We are a boring human fighter. It should be the simplest character to possibly make. So I believe we are good to go. Yeah, no bonus languages. You know, it has attack +1 set in stone, but I assume that if I do an attack, Yeah, 12 plus 3. That is correct. And then damage, I rolled a 1. But it adds strength and the +1 from the spear. Yeah, okay, so we get +3 on attack and damage rolls. Which is pretty good. I mean, that kills a lot of shit. But I think, I don't know, I didn't look at the monster, the Beastary, too closely. But yeah, anyways. Alright, our fighter is done. So we will grab... I wish you would just default to this, but fighter, select, done. Bargrand is done. Next character. That took less time, for sure. Let's go with a female of some sort. We're gonna go with Peloria. Okay, D12 for our race. 7 will be human again. It is the most common. No doubt about it. Human. Alright, background. 4 and 1 will be a kennelman. Kennel woman. +1 dex as well. Animal lore and a war dog we get to start with. I'm re-rolling that because I don't want another pet. 5/5. A scribe. There we go. +1 int. General lore skill. This is going to be our magic user. General lore, we said, right? Yep. +1 int. Okay. Background. Scribe. We get parchment and ink. I also got a cheese wedge on the fighter, but I don't know if that'll ever be applicable to anything. Okay, attributes. I think there's a macro here. Let me just see. Roll starting stats. There, that did it. Yeah. Okay, this is pretty solid. This is pretty solid. We got 10, 10, 9, 11, 14, 9, 8. Okay, so we have one that's at least 13, which is our perception. And then we can bump one up to 15. And then I can swap 2 numbers. So I kind of wanted a high will. So I'm tempted to swap perception and will, and then bump int to 15. It would mean that we don't have a great perception, but the will is important, int is important, and we'd have a 16 int, actually. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go 14, and then this is now 16. Perfect. So that means we have a 13 initiative, which is nice. And we're good at spellcasting and recovering our shit every short rest. Which is good. Class, definitely going to be magic user. So we get spellcraft. Think sense magic as well. Rerolls, we get 2. Hit points. Yep, that is correct. It's 10. Blah, blah, blah. And now we go down to magic user. So we get arcane lore and apothecary by default. Apothecary, arcane lore. Then we're going to get 3 more. 7 is going to be... I think you forgot a comma there, but I think it's persuasion. Great. I'm sure that'll get used. 1 is going to be animal lore. Great. And then 9 is stealth. Great. Oh well. Then we get to roll 1d100 twice. And that is That is our spells. 53 and 56. Very close together. Sorcery. 53. Lightning Bolt! Yes! And Mask of Many Faces, which allows us to look like someone else. In solo play, it's essentially worthless. Like, literally, I will never cast it. So I'm tempted to re-roll it just to get something more interesting. And when I say I'm tempted, I mean I do it. Yeah. Elemental Ward. Okay, that's better. And let me guess, they do not have spells in here at all. Spell? I have to just add it myself. Well, I'm sure this is all a work in progress. Yeah, okay. Well, then we'll just add it ourselves. Lightning Bolts. And Elemental Ward. Awesome. Okay, so Elemental Ward. Range is touch. Duration 2d6 minutes. Casting attribute, of course. Target is immune to one kind of damaging energy or other dangerous element, commonly fire, lightning, or cold. And then we got to come up with a cool symbol here. Hold on. Spells. Some sort of warding kind of image. Some cool ward image. There's got to be like a billion of those, right? I mean, there's just so many fucking images here for Pathfinder. It's a good module to have here. I don't know, just use this. It's fine. Okay, good. That's Elemental War. We'll see if it gets used. I think it's more likely than the Mask of Many Faces. Yeah, I'm not sure that would have gotten used at all. But Lightning Bolt, here we go. Range. Very far. Duration instant. Lightning blasts outwards from you in a straight line up to very far range. Targets in the path suffer 1d6 damage per caster level. On a great success, roll damage with advantage. Luck, dex save halves the damage. On a terrible failure, also dazed. Flammable objects in the area may catch fire. Now, of course, the problem is we can only cast this twice per day to start. So, it's not going to be like Magic Missile in Shadow Dark. We're not going to be able to do a whole lot with it. We're not going to be doing a whole lot of spell casting in general. But that's what we got. Alright. So then we start with our spell book. You think the spell book's even going to be listed here? No, I didn't really expect it to. But it is an item, so we kind of have to add it. Very annoying. And we also do get sense magic. I think I'm making another fucking spell book. It's gear. It's, I mean, yeah, it's gear. Pack gear. Or is it battle gear? Do I need this in combat? How often a magic user must study their spellbooks is abstracted. So it really only matters if you're caught without it for an extended period of time. So we'll put it in the pack. I don't know. It's one slot. Done. Spellbook. Done. But we did get... We get a fucking long sword and leather armor, and I don't know what to make of that. I mean, like I said, we're not that much worse at swinging a longsword than plenty of other characters. But our shitty strength... Not that we'd be better with a ranged weapon, it's just we have practically no AC and very little health. So... probably want to pick up a ranged weapon. We can use light crossbows and slings. So... we will definitely equip this. We also can't use shields. So we can use all one-handed weapons, but we can't use shields. Yeah, I mean, this is all fair. And it's all pretty fair. And again, it's better than like an OSE magic user. I think that's practically done. I mean, there's also the 10 silver that we get. And silver. I believe we are good to go. Luck of 11, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it looks done to me. As far as I'm aware, that was pretty quick for a magic user. Oh, also the other shit. That's right. Tinderbox. Bedroll. Rations. Torches. That's it. It's all our pack gear loaded up. Alright, that's it for our magic user. Now we gotta... I gotta delete those barrow maze images because they're just fucking massive. Icon classes... Mad Sorcerer. Here you go. Alright. Last character. I want the party of 4. Classic. And we're gonna go with, you know what? I'm gonna break my own tradition here. I'm just gonna call this guy Larry. Alright, D12 for race. Another human. No surprise there. But human's pretty good. I am not going to argue. Larry the human. Background. 5-3. Will be an alchemist assistant. +1 int. With arcane lore and starts with a fire pot. I mean, int is... int contributes to initiative, at the very least, so there's that. Alchemist Assistant. Then our attributes, we'll go to that macro again, because that's good. Okay, some pretty shitty rolls here. 9, 7, 11, 8, 9, 9, 13. Pretty rough. And we got a 13. We gotta try the fucking Artificer, right? I mean, we could go with a Cultist. Try and get Mend Flesh as a spell like Blessing, but can't really guarantee it until level 2. And worst comes to worst, at level 2, our magic user could just pick it. So I gotta try the Artificer. It seems too cool. We need 15 intelligence, which is good because we get +1. And so what I think we're gonna do is we're gonna make that the 16 that we get, and then swap charisma and perception to that, because we're leaning towards... Well, no, then we might have too much range, do you think? Fuck. I want that black powder weapon, but You know, you might be right. You might be right. Maybe I should go Dex. We are assuming there's finesse weapons here somewhere, right? Do we... Actually, I don't know if there's finesse weapons. How does that work? You can just never use... That's weird. That's uncommon. There aren't too many games like that in this sort of genre, where even if you're a stealthy rogue using daggers, you still gotta invest in strength, because everything's keyed off of that. That is unusual. Seems like a very easy thing to house rule, if you are inclined to do so. But as far as I can tell, yeah, there is no melee dex weapon. Or perception weapon. Well, yeah, so they changed range weapons to perception, which I get. I get that. I feel like you could still have weapons... The attack rolls for some weapons be off dex, and then still have the damage bonus be from strength. Because that's how it is in, like, Pathfinder, 1st edition. If you have weapon finesse, you can use dex for attack rolls with finesse weapons. But then unless you get, like, the extra feat past that, your damage bonus still comes from strength. Do we want a house rule already? I don't think so. I don't want to house rule almost anything if I can help it. But if I was, you know, and I was going to make some of these finesse weapons, it would be daggers, rapier, staff, short sword, whip. Those are the usual suspects. And it's not like that would even break that much. I don't think that would really even break that much. So it's kind of an odd choice. I wonder if there's a unique feature that impacts, like, anything like that. You know, if they, I mean, there's Knife Fighter. It still doesn't apply. But I mean, yeah, you could make that like a unique feature of some kind, but that's still, you're waiting till level 3 for like a core aspect of some classes to kick in. You know, or like, yeah, it's strange. It's strange, but okay, let's say that we didn't want to do that. And the reason I don't want another range character is because I'd have 3 compared to 1 melee, which is not the end of the world if you're doing a lot of doorway strats. It's kind of pretty good. But Ironwood Gorge, I don't expect many doorway strats. So we kind of want to build a character based on that. So I think let's go with 13 strength. This is not a very good character, but it'll be interesting. Due to his exceptional intelligence, though, he's got a decent initiative. 2 rerolls, blah, blah, blah. I need to pick my class. Artificer. Done, 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 done. That's all correct. We get some skills here. I don't remember what my skill was for Alchemist Assistant. It's Arcane Lore. Skills. Arcane Lore. Good. Good. Then we also get Apothecary, General Lore, D12, no, D12, 12, 12, 12, 12, there you go. 8, 7, 11. So, Persuasion, Gather Information with Int, and 11 is Stealth. That's all correct. That's all correct. Alchemy and Mechanica. We get to roll D12 on this list. Come on, Big Papa. Nope. Corroding Spray. Cause a single metallic object within melee range, weapon or armor, as an example, to rust, crack, or otherwise be destroyed. If the target object is carried, a luck dex save resist. Enchanted objects or special metals are immune. Okay. So it can be weapon or armor, but that could also be like, you know, locks, you know, door handle, you know, all sorts of metal objects. It's kept a little vague intentionally of how big an object is. Definitely other systems like Shadow the Weird Wizard are a lot clearer on what an object is. And will specify like the size of an object you can, or the area of an object. But okay, Corroding Spray. And then we also got 11, which is the mutagen. Yeah. Dude, if we can increase our strength and dex to 17 during a fight. It's pretty big. Yeah, could be pretty big. We'll go with that. Okay, and we also get Troubleshooter. So twice per adventure, we can attempt to improvise a jury-rigged device or ad hoc mixture to bypass a current obstacle, disarm a trap, or assist the party in some other way. Yes, this is what I'm very excited about. We will come up with something for that. Troubleshooter. Yes. Okay, then we need our equipment. We start with a heavy hammer, leather armor, and a toolkit. Okay. I see tool. I guess that's what it is. Doesn't sound exactly the same, though. It just says miscellaneous tool. But whatever. It takes up a slot. We know what it is. So on and so forth. Weapon. Hammer. Heavy. And armor. Light. Leather. Yeah, light armor. That's not great. Whip. Whip. So, a heavy hammer, 1d8 damage. Get some blunt trauma in there. It's not necessarily a two-handed weapon, but we don't have a shield, so right now we are two-handing it. Which I think you just specify when you roll. Back with two hands. Alright, and then 10 silver. I believe we also start with a fire pot. Fire pot. which will be in battle gear. Thrown missile weapon that explodes in melee area. +2 bonus on attack roll. Explodes in a melee area, causing 1d10 damage, creating a thick cloud of smoke. That could be damn useful. Kind of want to buy more of those. How much does that cost? 5d10 plus 10. What the fuck? So what, that's on average like 35 silver? It's kind of expensive. Although you can make your own for 2/3 of that price. So like 20 some silver. I guess it's not ridiculous. Now, thrown weapons use strength, I think. Did we agree on that, or was that not accurate? So am I thinking of other games? No. Okay, it's always perception, which means my perception is fucking garbage. But we can always hand off fire pots to our ranger. I'll probably do that immediately. Now, do you think they'll just let me move this over? Let's find out. Well, they let me copied it, which honestly is good enough. Okay, there you go. You get a fire pot. Enjoy it. Are we done? I think we might be done. There's not a whole lot else to go over. Larry the Alchemist is ready to rock. And I guess we'll use oh, he's an artificer. He's an alchemist assistant. Yeah, there we go. That's good enough. We are set. We have the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse ready to ride. So I think we're actually going to begin. So an hour to create our 4 characters. I mean, for the first time going through the character creation, and I have to make all 4 by myself and muddle with the foundry setup a little bit. I mean, it's not terrible. Could be a lot slower. I think even our Shadow Dark characters took a little bit. So I suppose we are ready to begin. Let's do it. We're going to go over to Ironwood Gorge. So again, I already ran through the early stages of this with Shadow Dark, if you watched that or not. But we will start it from scratch again. Yeah, okay. It's probably fine. I just want all of them. I just want all of them visible. To shame time, and I don't think we're gonna get that. Not with everything being displayed. No. I mean, there can be a bit of overlap. I'm not gonna cry about it, but yeah, it's not great. It's gonna cut off initiatives for everybody. Shit. It's fine. We'll live. Okay, we'll live. Alright. Let's begin Ironwood Gorge. So basically, pretty simple setup. There is a tower nearby in the Margravate of Black March. Orcs used to be a big problem. And now orcs are a problem again. So the Margrave here has put out an SOS to any adventurers to come help take care of the orcs. That's pretty much the basic whole setup. So we're getting right into it, and we're heading down the Old North Road, as it's known. And we arrive at the Bleak Tower in all its bleakness and toweriness. And at the base of that, there's an inn. And we're just about to kind of head into the inn after a long trek, you know, ready to get some sleep, get started in the morning. But just as we approach the inn, a low and baleful sound cuts through the night. A horn calling a long, chilling note from the edge of the wood. And then the tower bell rings out an alarm immediately as the gate to the walls around the tower gets thrown open. And shouts rise out from the guards of the tower, shouting for everyone outside to get in. And hurry. And a pack of war dogs charge out of the forest. 8 war dogs. Alright. So let's look at our monster selection here. So we have wolf or dog as a creature here. So, and these may substitute for hunting dog, war dogs, and so on. All dogs are basically wolves, and all wolves are all dogs, and so on and so forth. So it's giving them 12 AC compared to this, which is a 13 AC. It's giving them an average of 10 HP each. This is giving them an average of 6 or 7 HP each. And giving them a D8 bite attack compared to 2D4. Which, yeah, is slightly better, but not, that's pretty negligible. And they have a move of fast, so they can move, well, I don't know exactly what that means. Is that a trait that I should be aware of? Movement. Movement. Normal speed unless I noted otherwise. Okay. Move at normal speed. Fast creatures move at double. Okay, there we go. Go, normal speed, you can travel basically one range band. You can go up to close distance with a move. So fast can move double that. They can move 60 feet, or give or take, with one move action. And so it's basically exactly as we ran it with Shadow Dark. Because the module says that it will take 2 rounds for the war dogs to be upon the infolk that are scrambling to try to get to the walls. And I think we had decided that, like, it takes like 3 rounds or something for the infolk to get in. So, unless we intervene, the war dogs will attack the infolk before they can get inside the walls. So this is our, our chance to be heroes. So we will, combat initiates as soon as the war dogs start running. So one character needs to make an initiative roll. The thing is, they're very far away, so this one doesn't actually matter, and then we have to go clockwise. So honestly, I think Scissorin... Yeah. Gloria has the highest, so let's just have Scissorin go. He'll start it off. So he's going to make an initiative roll. We roll this. Normal. Success. So he got a 9 on his roll. That's all pretty handy. It tells you your GS number, your failure number, the big failure number, and it'll probably tell you that. So that's all pretty handy to have. All right, so we go first. The wolves are 240 feet away. The range on our longbow is very far, which is beyond far or more than 60 feet. In some instances, might indicate how many moves it would take to reach very far. Here again, we have the problem with just this sort of vagaries of numbers. And as much as I kind of am conflicted about Axe and games like that, It is very clear. You know, it's very clear. And the thing is, it's like, at a certain point, you just kind of need to know distances. I mean, I guess you can hand wave a lot. You could just say, okay, the wolves are very far away. It's like, okay, well, my bow can shoot very far. You know? But it's like, okay, what if the wolves are technically 800 feet away? And you hand wave it and you say, yeah, they're very far. It's like, okay, well, my bow can shoot very far. It's like, is very far essentially just as far as you can see? Because then you get into the same nonsense with Shadow Dark, where it's just like, just tell me how many feet my longbow can fire, and I'll figure it out from there. Like, numbers are not bad. Numbers are not the devil. I don't mind numbers sometime. But yeah, it just says very far. So, you know what? Let's look up X. We do this. We do this from time to time. And I just can't help it, but let's fucking look up axe, and it'll tell us exactly how far a longbow can fire, and then you just base everything off of axe. And then before long, you're just playing axe and living your best life. I think that's how it works. So, longbow, short range 120 feet, medium range 240 feet. Long range 360 feet. So, I would say, yeah, I mean, theoretically, a longbow could shoot out to 360 feet. So technically, again, if we want to keep following axe rules, that means out to 240 feet, you get a -2 penalty. If you want to go past that, it's a -5 penalty, which at that point, you can just say disadvantage, and it's basically the same thing. So yeah, I would say you can fire here, but it's a -2. And if you don't like it, then feel free to DM your own game. Make sure you always say that as a DM if they offer any arguments of any kind. The players love that. Alright, so we're going to go -2. We're going to do -2 on this. Normal damage and everything against a wolf, which has an AC of 12. Alright, so we rolled a total of 7, which is going to be a miss. That's it. And he's, of course, going to kind of back up. Probably along with Peloria. It's going to back up into the wall, behind the gate a little bit, just in case it suddenly comes crashing down. They don't want to be an idiot. Okay. No one else can really do anything of any significance. I mean, we could pop a mutagen, I suppose. But it seems unnecessary at this point in time. So I think we're kind of just waiting. I don't want to pop off a spell. I mean, we could launch a lightning bolt, which also has very far range. Again, the vagaries of, like, how many this hits, like how wide is the lightning blast or anything. You don't get to know that kind of stuff. That's just up to your DM and how capricious they're feeling that day. And that's usually my real issue with, like, just very freeform. I don't mind it actually as much when I'm actually DMing, but when I'm playing solo here, it's just like, okay, I just feel like I'm just either fucking myself over on purpose or I'm just, like, cheesing it on purpose. And it's just like, I have to go one way or the other. It's hard for me to be impartial when I'm playing solo. It doesn't feel like I can be impartial as much when just making rulings here. But when I'm DMing, it's just like, okay, you know, I'm trying to make other people happy while being fairly realistic, and we just want to keep the game moving. I don't ever agonize over it as much, interestingly. There's a lot of different ways you could adjudicate this. I mean, there's 8 wolves. You could literally roll D8 to determine how many are in the pack, like in the line, which is probably the fairest way of doing it, without just being arbitrary one way or the other. So fuck it, let's cast a spell. Why not? Why not? So, let's go over the spellcasting procedure then, because this is our first time doing so. So we need to do an action, clear speech, at least one free hand. We got all that. We don't care about doing it stealthily. We want people to know that we can throw lightning bolts. We have line of sight and range, apparently. And then we need to make an int arcane lore check. Okay, so we're going to click lightning bolt. I assume this will... I have arcane lore. Do you think it'll add +1 for me having arcane lore, or should I add the +1? I don't know. Let's see. Well, we got a great success. Okay, that didn't add anything. Oh, it doesn't... Yeah, well, it doesn't normally add anything. Right, that's so weird. That takes a lot getting used to, of not considering your modifier for a lot of things. Right, but I feel like it should have been a 17 that I was rolling against because of arcane lore that I have. So that's not going to add that automatically. But still, we got a great success. Okay, so... Spell is extra potent because we get to roll damage with advantage. But that doesn't negate the need for the DDM check. So this is a D8 roll. We rolled a 4, so now the number is a 2. So it keeps track of all that. I think that's all pretty good. Alright, so now we're going to roll D6. Well, let's roll D8 to see how many we affect. 7, okay. Almost the entire pack. Which is nice, because we did get the great success, so that's good. And this is going to be D6. Take the higher, so 4 damage to 7 of the wolves, of the war dogs. That's probably going to institute a morale check, I would imagine. That's pretty hefty. They have 6 health. Like 4.5 plus 2 is 6.5, depending if you round up or round down. 6 or 7. We'll say 7. Why not? So 7 health. In Ironwood Gorge, they would have had 10. Because they're 2 hit dice creatures. But, I mean, Tales of Argosa seems pretty clear, and we are technically running Tales of Argosa, so I will follow what they say. 7 health. So we wounded 7 of the 8. That's pretty good. Intimidating sorceries successfully used against several allies. Yeah, there's going to be a morale check at the end. And it's a will check for them at the end of the round. But I think the round is pretty much done. They'll move in afterwards, I suppose. They'll move in and then do the morale check. It's kind of weird. But either way, it's not going to make much of a difference. They have a will of 10. Okay. So, yeah, Fargran's not doing anything, and Larry's not doing anything. So the wolves move 120 feet in, halfway to get to us. And... Right, so I actually have to tick Spellcraft down by 1. Okay, yeah, alright. So you can only use that once per battle. Alright, so now the wolves are going to make a will check, so they just need to roll 10 or under on a d20. They did, okay. So they're not perturbed yet. But we did a good amount of damage to them. Okay, next round then. Reroll initiative. Now Fargrand is going to roll. So we go first again. They're how far out? 120 feet out. I guess Scissorin will make another shot with his longbow towards one of them. Maybe the one that's uninjured. So this now is made just normally, no penalty. He rolled an 11 versus their AC of 12, so it is unfortunately a miss yet again. And no one else has anything to do. We don't have really any other ranged weapons. We'll probably want to get a fix on that soon. But we can ready actions in this game, so Fargrand and Larry will ready melee attacks for any wolves that come in range. And they do. They're going to move another 120 feet their whole turn to get up to us. And we will slash and smash. So we're going to roll a spear attack against one. You know, and most of these are going to be injured. So this is just a normal attack. Critical hits. Because I rolled a 20. So, 23 fucking damage? No. No, okay, yeah, it's 9 damage. Because it's max damage plus your level. Kind of feel like that should be 10 damage, but who am I to say? Either way, we definitely score a wolf on our spear when it charges in and leaps in. Just spear it right through the neck. Pretty brutal. Larry swings his hammer at the same time. He is rolling with 2 hands. He got a 16, which is a hit, and 8 damage, so he crushes another dog's skull, sending, you know, brain matter and viscera everywhere. And that's the round. So now we've killed 2 of the 8. I don't know if that's quite going to be another morale check just yet. But we're doing pretty good. So now we have to hold them off one more round before everyone gets in. So now, new round, new initiative. Peloria is going to roll with her 13. Great success. All right, we've been rolling real well on initiative. Now we fucking butcher. So Fargrand gonna, you know, pull his spear back out of the wolf's corpse and spear another one. 18 for 8 damage. Definitely spearing another one right through the skull. Putting dogs down left and right. Larry swinging his big hammer a second time. Fumble. Oh no! If the target is in melee with the attacker, the target may make a free attack. That is definitely happening. So they get to roll their hit dice as a bonus to their attack. So this is going to be D20 plus 1 against Larry's 10 AC. Just enough to do it. That's a D8 bite. 4 damage to Larry. No, it's 8. Yeah. So he swings very wide and clumsily with this big heavy hammer and leaves him wide open for a nip to the ribs. Not very pleasant. And remember, you can't use rerolls on attacks. It's basically everything but attacks for the most part. It's only attribute checks if you have a skill, I guess, that's applicable, I think. I don't remember where rerolls were mentioned, actually. Here. Alright. So if you fail attribute checks, assuming you have a relevant skill or possibly background, or when attempting to activate a class ability. It's also luck rolls, death saves, and willpower recovery checks during short rests. Yeah, so rerolls are not insanely useful. It's not like luck tokens in Shadow Dark, but they're also much more plentiful. And depending on how extensive your skill list and stuff is, it's close to a luck token. But yeah, not usable for attacks and stuff in combat. Okay, Scissorin's going to try and shoot another one with his bow. That is another kill. How many have we killed at this point? We didn't kill any with the lightning bolt. Then we killed 2 on the opening volley. Then we killed a 3rd one, and now we've killed a 4th one. So we have killed 4 of the 8. They're down to half numbers now. They might rethink things. Do I send Pelorian with her longsword to try and kill another one? I feel like it might leave her pretty exposed here. And she has a below average chance of hitting. No, it's probably not worth it. They are going to go now, though. And the morale roll is, for sure, 100% after the round. If required morale checks are normally made at the end of a round, GM may decide, however, the check is to be made immediately. I like they bold that, like it's so intimidating. So yeah, I could do the morale roll now. I feel like it just makes more sense. They wouldn't fight and then be like, wait a minute, what are we doing? So I'm going to make the morale roll now before their turn. So again, they need 10 or under on this. They failed that. They critically failed that, so they are definitely fleeing. And then PCs may be entitled to a free attack. We could automatically slay them at the GM's option. I think I'd give them a free attack for Fargrand and Larry, so just because I want to roll more attacks. Try and get blade trauma. Yeah. Miss from Fargrand. Larry trying to redeem himself here. He did, and he crushed another wolf. Just as it turned to run, he just smushed its entire torso into the ground. God damn, Larry. Okay. And the rest of the people flood into the inn. Or flood into the walls behind the gate. And the guards are shouting at us to get in. And just as they shout at us, we do see coming out of the woods now 16 orcs. Carrying torches. Now, we handled those dogs pretty well. Larry got nipped a little bit, but overall, I mean, it was not too bad of a fight. We were certainly capable, but now staring down 16 orcs. And if we follow the stats from here, you know, they have 4 health each, 13 AC, D6 damage across the board. I mean, that is a lot, especially without spells or anything. I do have a fire pot, but that's in melee areas, so I'm gonna maybe grab... I don't know, what's a reasonable number? Like 5 or 6, probably? And that'll probably kill him with the fire pod, because it is D10 damage, so on average, it'll probably kill 5 or 6 of them. But it's pretty iffy, and I don't think this is the kind of game usually where you're meant to just charge into a group of 16 orcs like that and fight them off. Not without some more clever plan. If I had all of us having fire pots, then like fuck yeah. But I think that's a no-go. So I think, yeah, we're gonna rush in behind the gate as well. And it's slammed shut. And Scissorin is gonna be firing his longbow through the bars of the gate at the orcs. But they quickly rush in and torch the inn. We probably kill a few of them. But mostly we're just sitting here helplessly as the inn burns down, and the innkeeper is crying, and no, everything I worked for, no, why couldn't you do something? Sorry, man. 16 fucking orcs. What do you want me to do? If I had more spells. But I don't. I only do once. Once per battle. Alright, that ends the encounter. Now, let's see. XP. I think the XP is always awarded at the end of a session? It actually does not say whatsoever. Yeah. It does not say at all. So I guess you'd kind of award it as they go. Unless you forget, and then just do it at the end of a session or something and make sure it's all tallied up so you don't forget. But alright, so yeah, we did combat. Did we defeat significant foes? That's pretty nebulous. I mean, let's just think of what is an insignificant foe. What is a fight that we would do that would just give no XP? I think if maybe there were like 2 war dogs or something like that. Like, basically any fight where it's just like, it practically poses no threat to our survival. I think it's basically what we'd be looking at. So yeah, honestly, I'd say this is probably significant foes, not difficult foes. Considering, you know, AC is not very high and we can kill them in kind of one hit. But D8 damage is pretty severe. Yeah, I think significant. Save a PC ally or innocent from severe injury or death. Honestly, yes. I think I would throw an extra XP in there just because we made sure that the info made it in safe. And as someone that really likes these types of games, because usually you're meant to play heroes. Like, I don't really like to play villainous characters. Sometimes I'll play characters that are kind of gray, you know, because there's something interesting about that, where like the greater good, or you know, you gotta like put out the cancer, or you know, something like that. Like there's sometimes collateral damage, but typically, yeah, the intention is always heroic. I like that they have actually codified a reason here to be heroic, you know. There's not a whole lot of that here. But I mean, there you go. You get and you get a bonus XP. And if I ran this and I was running this, Tales of Argosa, Ironwood Gorge, blah blah blah, and the players made sure those info got in, I'd definitely give them the XP to encourage heroic activity. And if they didn't, I would make sure to mention that not only are they assholes and they let the info die, they also lost XP because of that. And yeah, I mean, I know some players just don't like that. They want just complete freedom to play however they want to play. But it's like, no, you're heroes. Get over it. And if you really don't want to be a hero, then you can probably find some other D&D group where everyone is just fucking murder hobo, you know, sadists or something. But yeah, Spoonie was always the same. He always talked about, like, when he played, you know, like, you're heroes. That's the whole point. You're fucking heroes. So yeah, I like that. I agree with that. So I think 2 XP all around. Boom. 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 Now, had the players come up with a plan to actually defeat the orcs and save the inn, boy. Yeah, that would probably be worth at least another 2 XP. mean, depending on what you do or something like that, yeah, probably another 2 XP. Maybe 3. I mean, wiping out 16 orcs or sending the orcs packing without getting the inn destroyed, I mean, that's pretty big. That's very heroic shit. But then, you know, you have to contend with the 32 orcs that are going to come afterwards. Alright, anyways. So, that's what happened. And that's basically what happened when we played Shadow Dark. But, Shadow Dark, I was doing only treasure gold as XP. Here, we have kind of a more traditional setup. And again, normally I would just do milestone XP. But the thing with milestone XP, and I will admit, the downside of that is that often you just revolve around the DM just being like, yeah, I guess you can level up. I've let you suffer long enough, and now you can level up. Go, my minions, you may level. And it's often not based around exactly what the players are doing from session to session. I mean, you can do it where they level up, yeah, after an adventure is over, but that's really just regardless of what they did during the adventure, how well they did it, you know, are they great heroes, you know, did they do anything clever, blah, 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 blah. And I still like milestone leveling. I think it's very simple, very easy. It's worked for years in many different systems, and it's fine. But I will admit that is kind of a downside of it. This, definitely more work. You have to think a bit more about it, but it allows players to be in a lot more control and have a lot more agency over their level ups and how they're leveling up. Because it really incentivizes, you know, going into dangerous locations, defeating foes, getting loot, exploring, and even social XP. I mean, the social stuff, influencing one or more NPCs for an important purpose, performing an impressive deed in jaw-dropping style, or busting out a great one-liner. Play out a madness, addiction, etc. your PC has. Strengthen bonds with a PC or NPC. Making a new contact of significant power, influencing them for an important purpose. You can get 3+ XP for earning a new henchman, which is kind of interesting. We didn't really look at the henchman hireling rules, but okay. And then the DM can award bonus XP for whatever stuff. So, yeah, I mean, if you save the inn, that's fucking bonus XP. And again, I think kind of like D&D 5th edition, I'm pretty sure, like, the system's kind of intended to get you to, like, level 3 pretty damn quickly. 10 XP to get to level 2 is going to happen fairly quickly, I think, with most adventures. And then 3rd level, another 15 XP past that. Probably not taking an especially long time. But after that, then yeah, it definitely starts to slow down. To go from 8th level to 9th level, you need 250 XP. Just based on this scale, that's going to take a while. Because you have to continually seek out very difficult or difficult foes. At level 8, I mean, that's probably significant. It's probably a little tricky to get to. But yeah, I mean, you want to get to like level 3 because that's where it starts getting interesting. Characters really come into their own. You get the unique features here at level 3. So yeah, handing out a bunch of XP relatively early, not the worst thing in the world. Because it's not like level 2 adds a whole lot of complexity or anything. But anyways, for us, 2 XP is what we got. Okay, moving on. We meet then with the Seneschal of the Tower, Onomaclus. He's a grim man of middle age. He's got a chain auberk on, shield +1, a longsword +2. He is better than us in every way. This guy is a boss. He's got 16 AC, 38 hit points. Swings with +5, D8 +5 damage. I mean, this guy would slaughter us. But luckily, we have his approval. Because we did make sure the inn folk survived. And he understands why we didn't charge the group of 16 orcs, but we handled ourselves well against their war dogs. So, you know, he tells us to go out to the Ironwood Gorge, far to the north. And if we can drive the orcs from the location and clear them from the area, he promises us half of the Margrave's treasure. And we can't speak with the Margrave in person because he's not well. But the Seneschal represents the Margrave in all things. And he's not going to give us any sort of advance or any additional concessions, blah, blah, blah. But it does say proven adventurers are welcome to the tower's limited stock of arms and equipment, but anything else must be sent for. And it raises the question of, are we proven? I think, I think the fact that we made sure that the Infolk were safe will allow us a roll to see if he'll allow us access to their stock of arms and equipment if we need anything. I think if we didn't do that, he would just, absolutely refuse. No roll even allowed. So I think, we might say like, hey, we're going to go out here. We could use a couple other pieces of equipment if you have any to spare, like maybe a shield or short bows or anything like that, Oh, also we have to roll for Scissorin and his bow. We have to roll a d6. If he rolls a 1, okay, we're good. So, as far as he's concerned, he still has infinite ammunition. So that's good. I think the tricky thing is just like remembering. Oh, also we can do a short rest because if we count that as a significant combat. So I think you probably want to have like a DM like checklist after combat of like, is XP rewarded? Do they want to do a short rest? Do you do your ammunition checks? Things like that. I do have the GM screen, which is free on drive-through. It doesn't have everything that I would like to have on here. I don't remember what I was hoping to see here that I didn't see here. But it has all the trauma charts, which is pretty good. And it has just like the generic custom monster chart. So, depending on what hit dice you're looking for, it has an AC, the damage value, their luck number. It's got the great success, terrible fail chart, various rules for various things. I mean, it's not bad. I can't even remember now what I wanted to have on here that wasn't on here. Yeah, and we do have a reaction table and stuff. But okay, let's say they do a short rest. They did a short rest before going into the tower. So it says after a significant combat, GM's call. But I would think basically that's any combat where you're getting at least 1 XP. So honestly, I feel like it should be most combats, right? Because if it's not a significant combat, honestly, I feel like that can kind of be hand-waved sometimes, or most of the time. If it's a fight that really doesn't pose any purpose or threat, it's just like, yeah, okay, you guys win, I guess. There was a rule for, I think, Savage Worlds. Fuck. Oh, yeah, quick encounters. That was the rule for Savage Worlds. And I was looking at this because I was thinking about this possibly for Weird Wizard for my family. Let me just try and see here. Okay, so quick encounters or quick combat. And I know what exactly some people will say about this is if a combat is so insignificant that you're just looking for some rule to like easily hand wave it, then just remove that combat. All combat should be significant for some reason. And in a lot of ways, I do agree. I do agree, because, again, like, you get a random encounter, and it's against, like, 2 wild dogs, and it's like, okay, what's the point? You know, we're either going to scare them off, or we just butcher them, and there's really no consequences here. Why even bother? So in general, I do agree with that. But if you did need some rules, and you didn't want to just say, yeah, you win, the quick combat rules from Savage World. Each player will choose a primary skill they want to use and how they plan to use it. This should generally be a combat ability, such as fighting, shooting, spellcasting, or the like, but anything is allowed as long as it makes sense. Then, depending on some modifiers that might apply to the situation, tactical advantage or something like that, there might be a +2, -2 to the roll. They each do the roll. GM narrates the results. If they succeeded on their roll, then they get through the fight unharmed. Like, that's it. If they got, like, essentially, like, a great success in our system here, then the hero truly shined during the fight. And they should kind of, you know, narrate that of how they were, like, especially cool or badass. And then afterwards, the hero gets a meta currency. In our case, I'm not quite sure what meta currency you'd give them. You know, in Shadow Dark, that would be like a luck token. But here, you know, I don't know. Maybe let them recover a reroll or something. I'm not quite sure. If they fail the roll, they suffer a damage or wound or something like that. So probably just have like one enemy roll their damage that would be applied during the fight. And if they get a terrible failure, then they suffer a lot more. Like, you know, I don't know, you'd roll 2 damage rolls against them or something like that. Like, they'd get pretty injured. Or some sort of situation like that. And that's basically it. That's the whole thing. Again, I can very much see the argument of just, like, not even doing it. Just hand wave it entirely or just remove it entirely. Because every fight should be significant. And I agree that the idea of, like, a quick encounter is not at all in the vein of the OSR and this whole genre. So, yeah, I don't know. But the point was, it says after a significant combat. And the whole thing is every combat should be significant. Which means they'd always get the option of short rest. Assuming they have a few minutes available. And I think that's just the easiest way to do it, is just remove insignificant combats from your game. There might be some times where players force an insignificant combat. Like, if they get into it, they want to attack a guy or something, like a lone guy in his house, and they ambush him, and, you know, you don't quite want to make it so that it's just like, okay, you win. You may actually do it as combat rounds. I could say that's an insignificant combat. And you didn't have any real choice as a DM in the matter, other than just not making it a combat. But sometimes you do want to make it a combat because things can happen. But it's still not significant. So I guess it can happen, but most of the time, if it's in the DM's control, make them all significant. But yeah, I mean, it is a sandbox campaign, so you're never quite sure. All right, anyways, but this one, significant for sure. We spend a few minutes before going in the tower. We each make 2 will checks, and we can use rerolls on this. And it says you recover half of your lost hit points, which is a very interesting way to put it. Okay, so he's down to 6 health in the example from 26. So he's lost 20. He uses half of that, so he restores 10. That means that short rest will never, ever bring you back to full health. Although it doesn't say if you round up or down. I assume there's a blanket rule somewhere. But I think the intention is that you can never heal back to full without, like, sleep. Which makes a lot of sense. So I would say round down if it comes to that. But I'm sure there's a rule somewhere, some blanket rule for dice rolling. Yep, round down unless indicated otherwise. There you go. Okay, so yeah, you can never actually heal back to full with short rests. Interesting. Alright, Larry's going to roll his 2 will saves. I guess we just pick short rest. Larry, great success on both. Does that matter at all? Yes, it does allow you to recover an attribute point on a great success, but otherwise it doesn't matter. Okay, well, he's going to recover half of his lost HP, which will be 2 points. And then he could recover another hit point if he wants, which he may as well, because he didn't use any abilities or anything. Or a reroll, so I guess he'll... Yeah, there you go, done. Scissoring didn't matter, didn't use anything. Oh yeah, I completely forgot about the wolf, and we didn't even build the wolf. Fucking hell. See, that's why I just don't like animal companion. Well, I don't like animal companions if I have 4 characters to juggle and I'm trying to learn a system. I don't know why I picked a ranger. Should have just made him a fighter. So we'll just pretend that he cares too much about his wolf to put him in combat. Yeah, Fargran didn't do anything, but Peloria does want to use a short rest. So we failed, and we could re-roll, but then I feel like I would just use it to recover a re-roll, which is funny, but not very purposeful. And all we really care about is just recovering an ability use. Spellcraft. And now we're good to go. So assuming she doesn't take any damage, you know, she basically has a very, very good chance of recovering her spell per battle. But she can still only use Lightning Bolt 1 more this day. But that's not a big deal because, this day's pretty much over. Right, so we were talking to the Seneschal, and I said that I'd allow a charisma roll to see if he wants to offer up some of his equipment to us or anything like that. Because we're going on a very dangerous quest here, you know. So we're going to roll just a charisma check. Just a normal charisma check. We got a terrible failure. Okay, so not only does he just flatly refuse our request, he also now thinks quite a bit less of us. He had a positive opinion of us because we helped the Infolk and we fought off the wolves and we were brave, but now it's like, oh man. These guys are just here for a quick buck, it seems. Yeah, his opinion definitely sours on us a bit. But, you know, as long as we do the job, we'll still get paid. So, yeah, it is what it is. Okay, and we do swear to oppose the orcs. So we are invited to stay. Even though, you know, he doesn't think great of us. He can at least offer lodging. Doesn't really talk about food too much here. But I assume we're fed as well, which is good. And the tower does get continually besieged by orcs, but I didn't think it was going to happen the first night here. I mean, you could do it that way, but yeah. Well, I mean, they're in the area, right? And it doesn't really matter that much, but yeah, okay. I mean, late in the night, outside, you hear screams and roars and the beating of drums and horns and just like a cacophony of sound taunting you. And you look out and there's just like, you know, dozen orcs or so out there daring us to come out. And you know, it's an opportunity for players to maybe come up with something interesting. And I guess if Scissorin wanted to keep firing from the tower, maybe he'd get a couple kills and we dwindle the numbers. I mean, you're meant to kind of keep track of how many orcs there are, but that's mostly at the gorge. I don't know if you're meant to keep track of how many orcs there are in the woods. So probably doesn't matter too much. You get a description of all the rooms in the tower. There's plenty of here. You know, if you wanted to do some chatting, there's things to steal. Theoretically, you know, the warden, he's got a very interesting situation. He has a key, an enchanted key, and that key is the only way to open the vault and the room where the Margrave is. And there is a shit ton of treasure in those rooms. I mean, theoretically, I guess you could break down the doors. But I imagine the vault door is pretty fucking secure. I would hope. Because it contains thousands and thousands of coins. But the key is the only thing that can open it. And he has to hold on to the key forever. He has to hold it in his hand forever. Because if he ever drops it or puts it in his pocket or anything, if he leaves his hand, it's removed from existence for him. Like, he can never perceive it or, you know, interact with it ever again. And then whoever picks it up at that point gets the same effect on them. And they have to hold it forever. So at night, he tightens a leather belt around his hand to secure it to his hand. I guess he sometimes... I don't know. It says, to that end, he tightens the leather belt around his hand, particularly when he sets down to bed. So I guess casually, he does often have the leather belt wrapped around his hand. It's going to raise questions probably from most players if they encounter this guy. But, yeah. But if it's even knocked out of his hand at some point, it's just done. You just can't get it ever again. So I think there are potential for plenty of shenanigans in this vault if players want to get up to it and they want to poke around and talk. But I don't know. I think a lot of players are going to be like, okay, we're here to deal with the orcs. Let's go deal with the orcs. But I think that's why this is a good location to drop into like a sandbox campaign. Because they could just leave. They could go elsewhere. There's actually mention here where you can go along with the pack mule to go get provisions. So you go along with the sergeant at arms on a few-day trip, and you get paid 10 gold pieces each for doing so, but it's going to get ambushed on the way by orcs. So yeah, I feel like this is kind of meant to just be dropped in a hex crawl. And then it's like, okay, well, we know, you know, the Bleak Tower's there. It's got a vault in the dungeon. You know, who knows what we can get up to. But anyways, much like in Shadow Dark, we're going to skip over all that because we want to get to the Ironwood. So the next day has passed. So that means Larry is now back at full. We have a comfortable enough location here. It's safe. Everything back to normal. Does the DDM... Does that only go down on Long rest? No. When an effect triggers or a new adventure begins. Okay. Definitely still at 2 on that. Yeah, I mean... does say I think the orcs are armed with short bows. Orcs are armed with spears, short bows, and short swords. That's just what it's assumed they're armed with, I guess. And they each carry D6 gold pieces. Okay. So... I think we killed a few orcs, but I imagine they've all been looted and everything, so... when we head out in the morning... maybe the corpses are there, but they've been stripped. Alright, so the Ironwood. We're told by the Seneschal, he's given us a simple map, tells us to be wary of cockatrices and fairy lights. It's a foreboding place marked by towering petrified trees hung with leafy lichen. And you can attempt a pretty difficult strength check to knock over some of the trees. Any creature caught in the path takes 2d6 damage if they fail a saving throw versus death. And so we're trying to get to the Gorge, which is 40 miles as the crow flies. So let's take a gander at the Hexploration rules. Explore from hex to hex, each of which is approximately 6 miles wide. Each 24 hours is broken into 2 shifts of 3 watches each. Yep, okay. Day shift is usually spent traveling, night shift setting up camp and sleeping. Entering or exploring a hex costs 1 or more watches. So it's 1 watch to explore a hex you're in or move into a hex with roads, plains, grasslands, fields, or other easily traversed terrain. 2 watches to move into a hex containing hills, forests, moors, badlands, or deserts. 3 to move into a hex with mountain, swamp, jungle, or other very difficult terrain. Mounts grant 2 bonus watches worth of movement. Wagons 1 bonus watch. River boats, ocean ships, so on and so forth. Okay, interesting rules here. We have to roll for weather. Now, this is very strange. I don't know if I've ever seen a weather table be a D12. Especially when you can apply advantage or disadvantage to it, which seems really weird. I mean, I guess, okay, so the bottom numbers are hotter, drier, things like that. The higher numbers, colder, wetter. So, okay, I sort of get it, but it's still not a bell curve. It's random chance. It's just kind of all over the place. Whereas if we go to Axe, yeah, I know. I may actually have to go to the judge's book. Yeah, I probably have to go to the judge's book. Find the weather tables and stuff. Shit. Yeah, judge's journal. Yeah, we're really going ham here. Here's Axe. Now, Axe is on the extreme other end of the spectrum. Where you have to determine the climate of the region, the season that you're in, and then depending on that, that's a modifier to your daily weather table. So if you're in, say, a continental area with a warm, dry summer, a taiga forest, you know, then that's a DSB. So you go here, and if you're in spring in a DSB climate, your temperature has a +1 modifier during the day, a -2 during night, a precipitation modifier of -2, and a wind of +0. So it's pretty steady. But depending on some other season or some other climate, you know, you might be like +7 during the day or -9 or something on temperature. But yeah, most of the time, pretty simple. And then the actual roll is 2d6. So it's a bell curve that's going to be average around 7 without any modifiers. But the modifiers are kind of a big deal. You can't just roll 2d6 on this because it's going to be, you know, it's going to average out to just chilly weather of 45 degrees. Or balmy. I guess balmy. So, yeah. So there's 2 separate temperature columns depending on the modifier. Because modifiers are usually going to be lower at night where it's colder. So if your modifier is just a +0 or less, you're rolling on this cooler table. You know, it all works. It all definitely works. Hold on a second. Okay. I forgot what we were talking about, but weather. Yeah, I think we were talking about weather. So, axe is a little, crazy. A little over the top. I don't know how much I'd actually do it. But there are a billion, weather generation tables. In fact, Shadow Dark probably has one that we could reference as well. If I was gonna guess, because somewhere. Maybe not. Wait, really? It doesn't have one? Huh. I'm kind of shocked by that. I could have sworn it had one. But no, I guess not. But anyways, I mean, usually you want like a 2d6 kind of table that's going to have a bell curve so that most likely it's just kind of the usual weather, but then has a decent chance of it being like a warmer, hotter day or raining or something, and then a pretty extreme chance of it being like a snowstorm or a you know, a massive monsoon or something like that. Making it just a flat D12 roll is kind of wild, I would say. But yeah, I mean, if I want to roll here, 6, it's going to be slightly cloudier than normal. Now, does that mean anything? Probably not. It's pretty standard stuff, but all right, it's a slightly cloudy day. We're not actually hexploring, I suppose, although we kind of are. So you could do travel events here. Because if we follow kind of the normal rules that usually go here, like random encounters. Check for a random encounter every 2 hours. 12 turns spent marching in the Ironwood. So this is 40 miles. Hexes are 6 miles wide. So, you know, basically you're talking about 6 hexes, give or take. And last time I did, it was 6 hexes. So we have to kind of determine, is this moving into a hex with roads, plains, grasslands, fields, or other easily traversed terrain? I'm pretty sure we're following a road. Travel northwest from the tower, roughly 5 miles on the old north road, then turn north into the looming forest. But the fact that we have to have a map, because there's no direct path there, suggests that no, okay, we are going to be hoofing it through a forest for a good amount. So I guess each of these is going to be 2 watches, which is an annoying amount because there's only 2 watches available during the day. Which means really we can move like a hex and a half. Which means this is like pretty ridiculous amount. It's a rather restrictive hexploration, I think. Because usually let's see here. What's like the average that people go with? Like from the BX set, 24 miles per day in easy terrain, 16 miles a day in forest and stuff. So yeah, that is definitely more generous than they're saying here. Because if we can move 16 miles a day through this forest, that's going to take 2 days, a bit into the 3rd day. Compared to 4 days by these rules, as far as I can tell. And I don't know what the intent is, if it's supposed to be fucking 4-day trip or not, but it is 40 miles through a forest. It's pretty far. So, I don't know, maybe 4 days. But if you didn't want to think about it too much, just say, okay, it's going to be a 3-day trek through the forest, which is, yeah, significant. All right, so let's just not get too specific here. Because I don't actually have hexes laid out, which would make this easier. And you'd actually map it as you go. But alright, so that's just the 3 days. And characters are going to have to decide on travel rolls. Each PC performs 1 roll during the day shift. So, unless you specify otherwise, you're on the lookout. You keep watch for monsters, traps, similar dangers from within the main party. You automatically spot most creatures at very far range. For a trap or ambush, you make a Percocet test on behalf of the main group. Okay, I think, yeah, probably pretty important to have a lookout then if you're in dangerous areas. That's pretty important. Guide. If there are no roads, landmarks, rivers, etc., one PC must be the guide to lead the party through the wilderness. So, a wilderness lore intellect. Oh, hold on again. Alright, so, yeah, someone has to be the guide, blah, blah, blah. If you succeed on your check, it means you enter your intended hex or hexes. Great success. You make excellent time, may spend the equivalent of 1 bonus watch this day. Okay, so there is a good chance of us actually moving through 2 hexes in 1 day. But on a failure, you become lost. Tricky. Forager, hunter, scavenge for food and water as you travel. If you succeed, wilderness lore, you don't use up any rations for the day. Great success, you gather enough for 2 people. Oh, okay, so that's... Yeah, alright. So that's just 1 person that might not have to spend a ration. Terrible failure, though. You eat something poisonous. Scout, you travel stealthily ahead of the party at very far range. Might be able to ambush any creatures you find, but normally you report any dangers back to the main group. GM decides whether any checks are required. Rear guard travels stealthily behind the main party. If the company encounters something, you might be able to stay hidden. You also watch for dangers from the rear and possibly conceal the party's tracks. Quartermaster. Manage rest breaks, travel logistics, and company morale. When you make camp for the night, you may make a charisma leadership check. On a great success, the camp is ideal and spirits are high. You get one benefit. Reduce the chance of a night encounter, or anyone who eats a meal and sleeps 6 hours may restore 1 reroll. On an 18 to 20, however, the party falls into discord. All PCs must make a con check or be fatigued. And then support athletics check. You assist others who are encumbered or have mobility injury. Or 10 to 1 patient's injuries. Heal 2 HP instead of 1 after the next sleep. Yeah, because generally any time that you're at night, you're not getting 2 HP at night. You're only getting 1. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I mean, let's follow these rules. I wanted to play this game as is, so let's follow this, because I think it's kind of interesting, and I like that this is all somewhat codified, because it makes it pretty clear. So we're definitely going to have some person as our guide. We got to have that. So our wilderness lore. That pretty much points to Scissorin, I think. He's the only one with wilderness lore. Yes, so he will be rolling that, even with his shitty int. But it does mean that he can use a reroll on it, because he has the skill. And that's really the big benefit. The +1 is fine, but being able to use a reroll, probably pretty good. So he's going to be our guide, and then beyond that, it doesn't matter too much. Does anyone else? Okay, Fargrand has detection. So I guess he'll probably be the... We definitely want him to be a lookout. And then probably the other 2 foraging. Because maybe they can get some great successes. We don't have to eat up any rations for the day. The other stuff is good. I mean, the scout could be good. Rear guard could be good. Quartermaster, charisma, leadership. No one really falls into that too much except for Scissorin. Fargrand does have leadership, I suppose, but he also has detection, so we want him on lookout. I think it's fine. I think it's fine. Okay. So... And then, so you have to consult the bones to see if a travel event occurs. So we are going to have to look at the consult the bones just to see the likelihood of that. But let's roll all the travel rolls first. So let's do the guide. So this is going to be wilderness lore. And int wilderness lore for Scissorin. So this is +1. Alright, he did fail. But he's going to want to use a reroll, so we'll do that. And then re-roll that bad boy. Great success! See, that's what it's all about. So we make excellent time, spend the equivalent of 1 bonus watch this day. So... max once per day. Yeah, I guess you can't have 4 guides that are just gonna bum rush you through a forest. So technically we move through 2 hex, so we move 12 miles through the forest. Okay, good. Then foraging, this is an int or perception roll for these 2. Success for her, and... great success. So only 1 person has to eat a ration tonight. And ironically, I guess it should be someone that's going to forage the next day. So I'm going to drop hers down to 4. Okay. Now, yeah, let's check. Consult the bones. I think this thing actually has consult. No, it says the deck of signs. Oh no, the macros. Consult the bones. Execute. What did we get? We got symbols. We got symbols. Hammer of Judgment provides yes or no answers only. Acts as a tiebreaker when necessary. Twins of Fate generate yes or no or kneel results. And the Fortune die produces fortune, misfortune, or kneel results. Okay. So the question is, do we have a travel event, I guess, is the question. Yes and no answers cancel each other out with one exception. If the result is yes or no on the Judgment die and the opposite result on just one of the Twins of Fate, Judgment die is the tiebreaker. Okay, so there's a cat in my way. I can't see, but we got, what the fuck? This is this is just unnecessary. We got a yes on the hammer and yes on the Twins of Fate. And then we got a misfortune. I don't know if that applies to this thing, but we did get a misfortune. Where's our exploration? Consulted the bones. Fortune die. Okay, so the opposite of this. Okay, so we're rolling a d8 and whatever the opposite is. 7. Favorable terrain change. So it's an unfavorable terrain change. Great. I definitely know how to adjudicate all that. I guess it gets muddier. And then I have to think about, okay, what is that going to do or something? And we enter, like, kind of a bog, and we either have to muck through or go around or something, I guess. Which either way is going to remove, like, a watch tomorrow or something. Sure. Sure. Something like that, I would imagine. But we do roll the travel event regardless. So this is a d20, which is an 11, and we get a random encounter. So now we can go back to Ironwood Gorge, because we did get this as a 2d6 roll of 8, which means we encounter orcs. All right. 2d4 orcs led by an orc captain. 2d4 orcs. 4 of them plus a cat, so 5 orcs. Now, because we have a lookout, we automatically spot most creatures at very far range. Dense terrain, weather, ambush, etc. may change as GM's call. For a trap or ambush, make a detection test on behalf of the main group. Now, we could roll so we could roll the random encounter, like, no, not that, the activity die here to determine, like, what they're doing out here in the woods in general. So let's roll a d6. We get a 2, so they're socializing. I don't think they're child rearing or anything. Mating rituals. They're just all, we find some orcs are just banging out here in the forest. Some sort of sporting activity, probably some sort of cruel sport where they pick on the weakest among them or something like that. All right, I think that's fine. So they're not making a great effort to be quiet, because they kind of rule this area, and they figure they'll either scare off most things nearby, or, you know, they're not going to get messed with. So they're a little casual about it. They're playing some sort of, like, keep away game or something from the weakest of the orcs. Spitting on them. So we definitely see this. Now, I would say that we spot them and they don't spot us just yet. But we are at very far range, which is like 240 feet. And we probably, like, we hear a little bit in the distance. We may not see the whole group yet or something because of the trees and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, they don't see us. They don't hear us. We're not chatting as we go enough. Not enough to talk about, you know, hour after hour. So it's up to us to kind of decide what to do. And the thing is, it's like a lot of the times it's so easy to just, like, avoid them. It's like, okay, we give them a wide berth and we go around and that's it. That's the whole thing. But if you're going to do that, then, like, what's the point? You know, we're here to kill orcs. We get XP for killing orcs. We can take, like, their short bows and stuff. We can take their money. I mean, yeah. Like, we're greatly incentivized to kill the orcs here. So I suppose that's what we'll do. I think we want to do some stealth stuff here. I think Scissorin probably wants to go off on his own. Like, break away from the rest of the group. And kind of flank them. And so then, assuming the three, especially like the fighter and stuff, and Larry, fail their stealth, then the orcs might charge at them, and then Scissorin can flank them with his bow and just start picking them off. So that's what we want to do. So I'm going to roll Scissorin stealth first, while the rest wait there. And I don't think there's going to be any great modifiers here. They are somewhat distracted, but that's about it. Now, technically, I think this might be an opposed check. Two characters are in direct contest. Both characters roll. Whoever succeeds by the greatest margin wins. Such as stealth versus detection check when you try to hide. And you do a representative check for the whole group of orcs. So just one of them would roll. So I suppose, yes, that is how we would do this. So he's going to roll his stealth. Normal. See, again, it didn't add the +1, even though I clicked stealth. And if it doesn't add +1, why would I bother clicking on the skill? So it should have been 13, but either way, he succeeded. And he succeeded by 3, technically. And now we'd roll for the orcs. For the orcs' perception. And to get that, we're just going to go with scorn stats. I mean, usually you can just roll a d20, and, you know, it might be by a big margin. You don't really care. But if we look at scorn, their perception is going to be 12 as well. So they're rolling d20. Yeah, just straight d20. They rolled a 1. They critically succeeded. So that's going to throw a wrench in the engine. So they do hear Scissorin kind of sneaking around, and he's probably like, I don't know. I guess he would be pretty far as well, right? He would stay pretty far. So he's very far from them, like 200 feet away. But they do hear him kind of, or one of them notices movement in the distance, and they stop playing. And they're like, oh, who's there? Who's there? And at this point, I think we should go to combat rounds, probably. So we'll have Scissorin roll for initiative, because he's technically the only one involved here. They haven't noticed the other 3 yet. Alright, so he gets to go first, and he's just going to fire. He's going to fire at the captain. Just try and put him out of his misery. His misery, I say. This is just a normal shot. 14, and this captain has an AC of 13. So that is a hit. He's got 8 health, but we only did 3 damage, so that's that. And that is that. The others then I suppose will charge. I guess we're not going to be very creative here. So we're just going to charge it, roar, and kind of charge towards the orcs. So we are definitely involved now as well. Yeah, I'm not going to waste a spell on this fight. This shouldn't be too tough. I hope. Then the orcs all go. They're going to have normal speed. Pretty normal. So they're going to be charging... Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. There's 5 of them. Now they see this pack of 3 running towards them with weapons out and stuff. So I think they're going to split up, actually. 2 of them are going to go after this asshole archer, including the captain. And he'll tell 3 of them to go after the other 3. Evenly matched over there, but he wants blood for this stupid bowman. So we moved 60. They moved 60. We were 240 apart, so now we're 120 apart. But the other 2 going towards Scissorin, they moved 60. He didn't move at all. So it's still 180 feet. Now he's shooting... Technically, I don't think he'd actually have a straight shot 240 feet through a forest, so we should probably adjust that a little bit. Like, maybe for an actual shot, he had to go, like 100 and... We'll just make it 180. We'll be kind of fair there. Alright. That's the round. New initiative. It's got to go to Fargren. Normal. He succeeds. Scissorin's going to take another shot at the orc captain. I'm not going to go disadvantage, but I am going to do -2 on this roll because he is kind of firing through the trees, and the captain obviously is trying to avoid the fire, but he's not ducking behind cover. He is moving, so it's not going to be full disadvantage or anything. I'm just giving him like light cover. So we're going to roll another shot. -2. Normal. It is another hit for 5 damage, plus the 3 he already did. I believe that's a kill with 8 HP. So, Captain goes down. Which generally is going to be a morale roll, if the others are aware of it. I don't think the 3 are going to be aware of it, but the one guy he was with will roll. So I'm going to roll for him. That is definitely a fail. So that guy is going to start running off. He's like, oh, God! Running off into the forest. The other 3 of us, I guess, will keep charging in. And the orcs will keep charging in. So we will meet in melee. New round. Fortunately, Peloria's initiative. Really gaming the initiative system here as much as I can. She failed! Uh-oh. This is going to get messy then. Okay, so the, yeah, they're each going to take 1 swing at each of our characters. And their hit dice of 1, so they get +1, deal d6 damage. So against Larry, that is a hit. He has practically no armor of any kind. And -1 dex. It's really shit. So he takes 5 fucking damage. Ow! That's hard to get back, man. Against Fargren, miss. Against Peloria, miss. We're good. Alright, our turn. Scissorin's going to try and take a shot at that guy running. Also, -2 again. But 13 is certainly going to be a hit, because they have 13. 7 damage. That's a kill. Putting an arrow in the back of his neck as he's running for his life. Okay, the rest of us. Larry's gonna try and crush this stupid orc with his hammer. Smash him good. Two-handed. Very much a miss. No doubt a miss. We could try using no, I mean, none of this. Although the mutagen can heal us for 1d10. Might be worth drinking, but we'll see after we recover. Fargren's stabbing with his spear at one. Crit. We're never going to get blade trauma because I keep critting. I'm killing them. But yeah, that's a kill. And Peloria will swing her longsword. Let's see how it goes. Two-handed. Fumble. Gets a free attack against her. Crit. Jesus. So it does max damage, which is 6. Plus their hit die, I imagine. It's their level, essentially. So 7 damage on me. 3. Now, they don't get... I mean, Scorn get a natural 19 effect, but they don't get anything... They don't get that applied to a crit. So, 7 damage. That hurt like hell. And this could be really bad if we lose initiative here. There's not much I can do, though. Because I can't move. I can't retreat. And there's honestly there's no defensive maneuvers of any kind. There's no retreat action of any kind. Yeah, there's no withdraw. It's just if you move out of melee with an active opponent, they can attack. It's pretty wild to not have a way for you to leave melee combat safely. Like, this is a very strict free attack rule. But alright, new initiative, which means it's going to be Larry. Terrible failure. Yep, I don't think that makes a difference compared to a normal failure. Yeah, so it's just shitty. And there's 2 of them. They might make a morale check here. I'm not sure. Technically, they haven't lost half their numbers, and I don't think they're still aware of what happened with the other 2 and their captain. So maybe no morale check just yet. I think one of them is going to continue to try to capitalize on killing Peloria. Rolled a 7, thankfully. And then another will try to hit Larry. Hit for d6 damage. 3 more. He's down to 4. Yeah, combat, it definitely can be painful just going blow for blow. Alright, Fargren, though, he doesn't fail, so he's going to spear the one that's attacking Peloria. He's going to save our magic user. That is a miss, sadly. Damn it. Larry trying to crush this bastard. It's beating on him. Come on now. Miss. Fuck. Peloria, come on, you can do this. Swing your sword. Two-handed. Kill this thing. No. Shit. I don't want to do a party retreat, though. We can win this. We can win this, man. Scissorin's going to fire through the trees to try and hit the one on Peloria. He's going to roll with a -2, but it doesn't even matter. He's going to succeed. Yeah, 6 damage. Dead. Oh, thank God. All right, now a morale check for that last guy. He rolled a crit. So he is so determined to just destroy all of these. He's blinded by bloodlust now. They were enjoying their fun little game, and he's had enough of this. New initiative. Scissorin. Success. Thank God. You are fucked, dude. Miss from Fargren. Miss from Larry. Peloria can do it, though. Come on. She should really back out, but Nope, she also missed, and Scissorin with his -2 has got to clinch the day. Miss. We all missed. Could not get a 13 or higher. This guy was the one on Larry, so he's going to swing again at Larry. And he rolled a 4, so also a miss. Very anticlimactic. But it depends on how the DM kind of paints the scene, you know? There's a lot of, like, clashing blows, and it can be very anime without, you know, an actual hit landing. It's just easy for DMs just kind of fall into, yeah, you miss, you swing and miss, oh, big whiff, oh boy. But it certainly can be more cinematic than that. Scissorin initiative, I think. No, he did, so Fargran. Failure. Alright, this guy's gonna continue to swing at Larry. He's determined. Still missed. Come on, Fargran, put him out. This is easy. Come on. Larry, crush your opponent. God damn it. Peloria. Fumble. He gets to make a free hit against her. It hits for 5 damage. She's down. Oh, God. We're going to lose Peloria here. Scissorin makes a shot. How did she roll 2 fucking fumbles? Jesus. He also fumbled. So now I have to reroll attack against, like, probably Larry, right? Well, I guess they're both in melee, so we'll be nice and pick Fargran. So reroll this against Fargran's AC. Miss, okay. Peloria's down, so we go to Larry's initiative. This is an insane... They get to go again. He's going to swing at Larry. He's caught in his bloodlust. He misses again. Or, you know, Larry deflects it, however you want to paint it. Fargran spears again. Come on. There it is. Finally a kill. Jesus. Okay, and then we go over to Peloria. And we turn over her body, bloody and broken on the ground. And we have no healing magic or anything like that. So this is just going to be straight up death save. Which I don't think we have a roll for. We have to roll 10 plus con or will mod. So we have to roll 11 or under here. It's basically 55% chance. We failed. Peloria's dead. Christ on a bike, man. Now, had I retreated, there's a decent chance that we could have gotten out of there and it would have been fine. And you get XP for retreating. Under advancement, it says here, successfully retreat from a losing battle. You still get an XP, which is what I would have gotten for significant foes anyways. So it's like kind of a horse apiece. And I wouldn't have gotten XP for looting their shit. So yeah, really, we would have just gotten 1 XP either way. Kind of a big failure all around. But yeah, there you go. There's Peloria gone. Really a bummer. I'm glad we got to use Lightning Bolt once. But, damn. And then, to be fair, that was us rolling really poorly and not being particularly clever with, like, any sort of ambush plan or something. We just kind of charged in. And I had Peloria charge into melee as well. Because I'm just hoping to get her a melee, a range weapon of some kind. Yeah. Bottom line, don't put her in melee. Don't do that. Okay, well, we'll end it off here. It's a pretty long video. Next time we will make up a new character. Might still be a magic user, I'm not sure. I guess we'll see kind of where the cookies crumble and where the dice roll and all that. But yeah, obviously the intent of the system is really to not have much magic. And it's very, very possible for your whole group to not have any magic. And there's only one healing spell in the entire game. So obviously this is not meant to be played like D&D. It's not even meant to be played like Shadow Dark, where, yeah, just you're going to want a priest and they're going to want to have cure wounds and you're going to use it all the time. Like, obviously this is meant to be a bit grittier and realistic and grounded. So I don't think we really need a magic user. I just like to have one because I like magic. But, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We could go with a cultist instead and just roll that up and see how that goes. Because they would be better at melee. And might get a spell of some kind. And then at level 2, we can definitely get Mend Flesh. We'll see. For now, though, my name is Mang. This has been Solo Roll Manging, Tales of Argosa. I'll see you fine folks in the next part.